Hello everyone, my name is Caleb Beck, and welcome to Caleb Beck's Infinite Trip, where we talk everything wellness, whether it's spiritual, mental, or physical. Today, as you may know, we will be talking about anxiety, what it means to me, how I've dealt with it, and how I go about mitigating its effects, what you could do for people in your life who may or may not have it, and how you can better aid them in their journey to wholeness. So we'll start from the beginning. Think I had what you would call a panic attack in second grade, 2002. I don't really remember what was going on, but the teacher had us do something, and I wasn't immediately able to do it. And I kind of just started feeling really warm. I was starting to have heart palpitations. Didn't really know what that was. Kind of just felt my heartbeat right here in my neck. And I remember the only thing I could think at the moment was, wow, this is what death feels like. Didn't die, still here. And that sort of cascaded into the rest of my life of living with this affliction. I feel like because of it, growing up in public school was very interesting. I didn't really know what it meant to have friends. There were people I talked to at work. There were people I talked to at school, of course, but it was really only talking when spoken to, because a lot of the times I was too busy thinking of how I was being perceived to go out on a limb and speak to other people. I kind of always put myself in situations in which I had to talk to people. So, for example, in elementary school, I was in this group called Peace Patrol. There we go. I couldn't remember what it was called. I thought it was called the Peace Corps, but I was not in the Peace Corps in elementary school. No. But Peace Patrol was this self-governing student body in school, but one of the things that they were always preaching was friendship. And friendship makes the world go round, in case you didn't know. But they would always encourage us that if we saw kids on the playground who weren't talking to anyone or didn't have friends, to go and talk to them. And being a go-getter and people-pleaser that I was, when the adults told me to do something, I went and did it. So I was always right there next to the lonely kid, just be like, "Hey, what's up, man? I play Pokemon too. You don't have to play Pokemon alone." And in junior high, I was in ASB, and we had a very corny teacher who was all about friendship and sunshines. And so we would always be challenged to do the same thing. Go out and talk to someone who's sitting alone, get to know them, yada, yada, yada. In high school, I did a class called peer counseling, where we had to do random acts of kindness every week, and I just defaulted to talking to lonely kids at school because that was like something that I was comfortable doing in a sense. It was something I was used to doing. But aside from all that, usually was very standoffish. People would always say that... You have something to say? She didn't have anything to say. Very standoffish, and I didn't really go out of my way to make friends. I always make the joke that I was just the mysterious kid that people talk to. I was just thinking too much. I had way too much going on in my mind. Does this person like me? Does this sweater fit me too weirdly and people are going to think that I'm poor? Are my shoes tied? Is my nose running to the point where they can see boogers in my nose? why am I feeling halt all of a sudden? The teacher just called on me. What were we learning? Make an answer. Say an answer so everyone in the class knows that you're smart. All of these types of things. And I wouldn't say it necessarily impacted anything directly. I just sort of vibed. I didn't know that there was any difference. I went all the way through maybe high school until I took a psychology AP class, and we started reading about some disorders, I'll say. I don't know if it was precisely anxiety, but we were doing a lot of personality tests and all these sorts of things, and it was definitely like that Vine, hey, I do that, all the time. And I started to realize that not everyone went about life the same way I did, and I kind of knew that, but I didn't have as deep of an understanding of that. I knew that people were more outgoing than me, but I kind of just ignored it in a weird way. There wasn't a lot going on outside of what I was thinking about how people perceived me. And if my little brother is watching this, rewind a little, not anytime, every once in a while, maybe 50-60% of the time, if we were out and about at Rite Aid getting ice cream, I would have him order for me, and he would always say, "Why? You can do it." And I would literally just tell him, I don't know why, but I need you to do it. And looking back, I have no idea how to process me being overstimulated, and I need you to help me out here and do this for me, man. And hats off to you. Thank you, Austin, for always doing that. It really was just anxiety. I had no tools whatsoever to deal with this. Personally, anxiety for me, physically, almost is serene in a way. There are definitely moments where my body feels really hot, and I don't get heart palpitations all the time, but I definitely feel really hot. I kind of choke up and freeze. And what I mean by serene is my mind kind of does this whirly-durly of thoughts to the point where it all becomes this blissfully sounding static, and I kind of just vibe, if that makes sense. I'm just chilling in the static that's this one note, if that makes sense, and I kind of just wait till it's over. Wait till whatever is overstimulating is gone. And sometimes, even now in my adult life, I tell myself, this will end. All I have to do is sit here in silence, and all of this will be over. This person will walk away, and I will not have to deal with this. Sit, stand, do whatever it is, but very still, and continue breathing. Emotionally, there's not too much going on in the moment, except for after the fact. A lot of the times I will kick myself and just replay whatever happened and tell myself, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that, why didn't you do this? Idiot, why didn't you not do this? Idiot, why did you not think of say this? And it's always just kind of this negative self-talk, and then after that, post anxiety, emotional Caleb, I have to give myself a hug inside and be like, it is okay, you did your best, maybe next time you will recognize the same patterns and you won't do it next time. But it's a process. As I talked about in the video about my military discharge, a lot of my anxiety kind of got worse around that time. So, for example, anytime I saw cop cars, I would almost have a panic attack. I would and I would have this shortness of breath, and I really wouldn't know what was going on. And I would do all these mental checks. I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't know why I would think this, da-da-da-da-da. And I remember telling my therapist this at the time, and she told me to, obviously, you're feeling something a lot in your mind, and so she said, turn it into something physical. And so I used to do this double clap, and that would not necessarily like break the focus of my panic, but it would definitely give me an outlet to focus on versus just running nonsensical simulations in my mind. And eventually it turned into me repeating the intro to Cops, like, bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Right? And then it evolved into me saying it as like Michael Jackson. And so now anytime I see a cop car, I still sort of like flare up like that, but now I'm always just like, what you do? What you do? And it kind of just like makes me laugh and yeah, so it's all about finding techniques that work for you in given situations that basically take you either out of your mind or out of your body. So if you're having a intense body experience, think about something sort of ethereal or something, right, to get you out of your body and into your mind. And if you're overstimulated in your mind, do something physical that will get you out of your mind. Another one, and I know this gets thrown around a lot, and I'll throw it around on my channel a lot because it genuinely helps me, and I feel like this could help even if you don't have anxiety and you just need ways to cope with stress, but mindfulness. Just feeling your body, doing a body scan throughout the day, just where are my feet in space, how are my feet feeling, how are my ankles attaching to my feet, and what is the relationship between how those feel, and just do it kind of all the way up, and usually that helps me just remember that I'm in the present moment and that we are non-dualistic beings and all of this is a dancing drama of the God universe re-experiencing itself because it forgot itself and purposefully put it in itself in different forms. Yeah, I literally tell myself that all the time so that I can like calm down. And that just works for me. I don't know what will work for you. Also, you could just take some really deep inhales through the nose, hold for maybe a second or two, and exhale slower than you inhaled either through your nose or mouth, but that usually will help too, probably 5 or 8 breaths like that. And a little bit more on the physical side, when I said getting out of your mind, do something physical. For me personally as well, I like to take Ellie out for a walk here, or take her out for like fetching or playing tug of war with her in the house. It definitely gets my mind loosened up in a sense and kind of just gets me interacting with someone that I love. And I think Ellie was me in a past life, or I was her in a past life, so it's really nice. And healers are really cool. They give you a lot of eye contact, and it's super sweet because I know she knows what's going on most of the time. And this may or may not work for you if you don't have a dog, if you have a cat you can dance with, or just maybe do a couple push-ups, something like that. Go for a swim, go for a walk, get a tan. And important, please, 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 please do this without your cellular device. A lot of the times when I take Ellie out for a walk, my phone is at home. You do not need your phone. It will be okay for 20 minutes, I promise you. Another big one is cutting substances out of your life. Not necessarily out of your life, but you really need to focus on your sleep schedule. Sleep is so holy. You need to stay off your phone 45 minutes, an hour before you go to bed. Do not drink coffee after 3 p.m. Don't drink a drink that has more than 30 grams of sugar an hour, 3 hours before bed. You don't want to do these things. It will keep you up and you won't get a good enough night's sleep, and your brain keeps track of this. Your brain is a crazy thing and keeps track of all sorts of things. So let's say if you tell yourself, or we all hear colloquially, that we need 8 hours of sleep. I mean, it differs from person to person, but on average, everyone should be getting pretty close to 8 hours of sleep. If you lie in bed awake, whether it's dicking around on your phone or because you had a cup of coffee at 8 p.m. because you couldn't have some self-control, and you're up till midnight, 1 in the morning, your brain knows that you didn't get 8 hours of sleep. So the next day, maybe it's super subconscious or way in the back of your mind, but it is waking up stressed because it didn't get enough rest, and that stress is taking what little rest you did get and destroying it. And it just cascades, and you do not want this. You do not want that at all. You want to feel good, get more sleep, do less stimulants before bed, get less screen time before bed. Another big one is being vulnerable with people. So I don't remember when I started doing this. It might have been some point in the military when I was learning that having anxiety was normal and okay. I started just letting people know, oh, I have anxiety, da-da-da-da-da. And it's kind of become, I kind of feel like it's a meme because everyone says they have it, or they all say they have some sort of thing. I don't think it's cute to say it. If you really have it, I think you should go ahead and let people know if you feel comfortable. If you don't have it, it's not cute to say that you have anxiety. It's not quirky. It's kind of horrible. Sometimes I feel like I'm dying. You want to know what anxiety is like? Anxiety is me walking alley in broad daylight, looking over my shoulder because I think someone's going to run up behind me and stab me in the back. Or every time I hit a pothole when I'm driving, I think my car tire is going to fly off, and that my car is going to sink into the thing, like the street like this, and since I have so much momentum, I'm going to go like this and grumble like little trash can. That's what anxiety is like. Literally, it's not fucking cute, and I wish I didn't have it, and we're getting there. We're doing good, you know? I wrote down some strategies on what you should do to either help yourself or help friends. And like I'm saying, I encourage you to be vulnerable about it. It'll sort of, again, get you out of your mind, and explain your anxieties to people, and then, well, usually what I do is I say, am I being anxious? Is this me? And people always say, yeah, that's just you being anxious. And then I kind of, oh, that's a little easier to deal with. I still feel it, but it's a little easier to manage because now I know from someone else's point of view that I may or may not be overreacting. But if you are struggling, I would definitely say reach out to friends, family, online communities. There are plenty of people out there with anxiety, and I feel like the more dialogue you have around it, the easier it becomes to manage or even find coping mechanisms. We definitely want these to be healthy coping mechanisms. We don't want to lean on substances or binge eat or watch too much TV or do things that destroy our relationships with ourselves or others. Just do you. Please just reach out to your family, friends, online communities. Someone out there is experiencing the same thing that you are, and they have dealt with it in some way or another. And if tips that I'm giving you aren't helpful, someone out there has helpful tips for you. I've always lived with kill them with kindness throughout my life. So if you ever are dealing with people who are being negative towards you and your affliction, let them deal with that. That's their karma. They're obviously having their own battles. You don't want to make those battles yours. So just smile, wave, move on. These next couple of tips are going to be for parents, and so I'm not exactly sure how you would go about recognizing anxiety in your children, but if you create a safe space where you can have open dialogue about tough situations in a non judgmental way, I feel like eventually, if you ask enough questions, you'll understand what it is that your kid is going through. And if you think your kid has anxiety, just look it up. Ask the Jeepster a couple of questions on how to recognize anxiety. Have a safe, non-judgmental conversation with your child. Don't press anything. Don't say like, "Are you feeling anxiety? What does that mean to you?" Just ask them questions about their day, and if you notice that they aren't really making friends, not trying new things, these kind of maybe a little bit of signs. If you're noticing these kinds of things, have an open dialogue with your child. That may work. Who would have thunk? Talking with people, you may get to know them. Go figure. And I know that anxiety presents itself in many ways, and it's very ambiguous and vague, but I want you to listen to your child very actively if this is something that you think is going on. And don't make them feel like their anxieties are minor, because they definitely don't feel minor to me. Even if they seem minor to people around me, they feel a lot bigger inside our bodies and minds. And you have to be very mindful that something that is normal as ordering ice cream at Rite Aid is sometimes an impossible task. For me personally, I kind of feel like it would have been beneficial to me if my parents maybe had sit-downs one-on-one in a safe, non-judgmental way, just asking me how I was doing. Usually, I'm a child of 3, and usually a lot of our sit-downs were in groups because that's efficient and easy, but again, it's kind of hard to be vulnerable, especially when you don't really know what's going on in a group setting. So maybe having gone for a walk with me, or instead of yelling at me and telling me to take the dog for a walk, maybe you go out with your kid and take them for a walk and just say, "Hey, what's up? What are you thinking about today, buckaroo?" That would have personally helped me. I think just having personal one-on-one time with your kid, not always as a group if you have multiple kids, I think will help you better understand yourself and how you relate to your child. It will also help your child know themselves and how they relate to you. And also, it just kind of makes talking and dealing with adults a little easier because you're getting one-on-one practice with an adult that you respect. What about you, Ellie? What do you have to say? She gave you a lick. That is good sign. I would also recommend creating a welcoming space in your room or your living space or any corner, closet, under your bed that you can. Personally, for me, I've had this tapestry for quite some time, and that's always really helpful for me. I also have this black chain necklace that I've had since maybe 1920. And anytime I want to feel grounded, I kind of just remind myself that this is here, it's always been here, and it always will be here. And that helps. Also, I'm really big into lighting incense. They make me feel like I'm in some Vatican church or something, and just I hear hymns go off in my mind, and it's just very calming and relaxing. So I'd recommend exploring things that make you feel good, things that you find aesthetically pleasing, and surrounding yourself with them. It's just a good way to ease your mind and body without having to actually do anything. And obviously, at the end of the day, level with yourself, and if you need to see a therapist or do any type of therapy, just know that it's totally okay and that you probably should. If you or your family can't afford it, I would look into state-run programs. There usually is. I don't know everything about every 50th state, but most states, the 2 that I've been in, have free programs that you can sign up for if you're low income to go ahead and get free help. And these people are usually the people who want to help others more. So you get a really good experience, in my experience. Well, I feel like I've talked long enough. I would encourage you to share any of your experiences down in the comments below. I would love to hear them. Obviously, I'm still going through this, so anything and everything helps. Just kind of to recap, ground yourself, breathing techniques, mindfulness, yoga, breath work, being vulnerable to others, expressing what it is that you're feeling, and get input from others you feel safe getting input from to see if you're just having an anxious moment or if this is something you actually need to be worrying about. Parents, have one-on-ones with your children, help them do something physical, do it with them, show interest in things that they're interested in so you can build a relationship that's a two-way highway versus you always telling them something. And you're not alone in this journey. None of us are alone. We are all holographic versions of each other playing out the same sort of life with the same experiences. We're just all different, unique individuals pretending that we are not all one and the same. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Right, Ellie? She said yes. Bye.